What's up, YouTube? Crankshaft here. Sorry I've been absent for a bit, but the missus and I have been a little bit sick. Well, I guess she's not technically the missus yet. The wedding is scheduled for 2.5 weeks from now, and we could not be more excited. Another thing I'm excited for is The Benchwarmers, which is a new series that I'm doing with a couple motovlogging friends that I've met in the community, predominantly driving Moccassins. I'll have a link to his channel in the description. And basically it's just going to be me and a bunch of other guys, and sometimes Miss Crankshaft.
And I do want to apologize if I sound a little bit stuffy, or like my voice is a little bit tired. It's because it is. Miss Crankshaft was fighting a cold for a couple days before her birthday. And unfortunately, the night before and morning of her birthday, I finally succumbed to the virus myself. Just a common cold, but an annoyance, you know. It's very difficult to manage a runny nose when it's inside of a helmet, but, you know, we'll figure it out. Aw, come on, big white SUV, you're ruining my knee down game. But Cadillac, I gotta get my knee down. I just passed by where I used to work, and I can comfortably say it's a car dealership because there's like 5 of them in this immediate area, and you won't know which one I worked at. But I used to work at one, and I've always pulled about 80-hour weeks. Ooh, nice jigsaw, bro. Car wash today? No, I don't think so. Hey, what's up? Do what? Oh no, sorry, man. So anyway, on to the topic of the video. Today I wanted to talk about my first motorcycle accident, and I figured this would be the beautiful scenery I'd throw in the background of it. Because I was riding somewhere just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, when I went down. I'm gonna get a little heavy here with you for a moment because it's important to the story, but I had a family member that was very close to me that was shot and killed. I was notified as soon as I got off of work. I got home and just, I didn't really, I've never, to this day, that's the only person close to me that I've had to deal with dying. And I didn't really know how to deal with the emotions I was feeling. This was shortly after I first got the bike, maybe a month. I never took any motorcycle safety courses or anything. I essentially purchased the bike, got on it in my university parking lot after hours, and dicked around for about 8 hours, 2 days in a row until I knew how to ride. So what I decided to do next was stupid, and it was reckless, and I don't recommend doing the same thing, but I got on my bike and I just rode. I didn't know where I was going. At the time I was living right around the Gainesville area of Georgia, which is close to Lake Lanier, if you're familiar with the geography of the area. I found myself in Dahlonega, which is maybe 45 minutes to an hour north of where I lived, just about in the North Georgia mountains. Great little town, really homey. I topped off my gas and I rode into the North Georgia mountains, and I just did the same thing I did before. I just kept riding. I didn't really have anywhere in mind that I was going. I just rode. The real reason it was so reckless for me to have been out there like that is that not a soul knew where I was, and that was exceedingly dangerous, because if I went down, which I did, there was a chance that no one would find me and be able to help me. So now it's about 3, 4 in the morning. When I left, it was already late. It was already about midnight, and now I found myself in North Carolina. I decided to stop for the night fairly close to the border of Georgia and North Carolina. Got a cheap motel, and in the morning I got on my way, and I just still couldn't come home yet. I wasn't ready to. I wasn't ready to come back home and I guess deal with all the emotions I was trying to run away from. So I decided to go to Tennessee. on the way from North Carolina across into Tennessee, I take this gorgeous road, absolutely beautiful. It's essentially a mountain pass. You know, there's massive cliffs onto my right, there's a river to my left, and just on the other side of the river, there's more massive cliffs. It was absolutely stunning. To this day, one of my favorite rides, and I haven't been on it again since then, but as soon as I get back to Georgia, it's going to be one of my first destinations, if not my first destination of a road trip. I see a sign pointing towards a scenic byway, and I think, oh, that's excellent, scenic byway? That sounds like exactly what I want to do. And it was gorgeous, and I got up on it. It was this winding road right up a mountain, and it was, again, just gorgeous. And I think that's what I was looking for. You know, I was looking for something that would remind me that, you know, no matter what you're going through, no matter what shit you've got to see and deal with, you can still get out and ride and just live and get away from everything. I get up to this overlook and I can see everything. I can see the river, the road that I was on that cut through the mountains. The mountains I can see, obviously. I can see into North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia, and it's just incredible. On my way back down the mountain is where the accident happened. I'm coming back down this winding road. It's thin, just thin enough that you could fit 2 cars on it side by side. So this big, ugly-ass PT Cruiser comes swinging around this corner and leaves me absolutely no room on my side. I don't know if they thought it was a one-way road. I don't know what the deal was with them, but they ran me right off the road. It was either run face first into a PT Cruiser and go rolling down the mountain, or swerve off the road into about 5 or 6 feet of grass and mud because it had just rained. I chose the mud, and as soon as my front tire hit the mud, obviously it tucked and the bike low-sided, and I wasn't wearing very great gear at the time. I couldn't really afford it, unfortunately, college and all that. So I was just wearing a regular leather jacket like that you'd wear anywhere. And basically this part, I was wearing gauntlet gloves, but the texture grabbed it and pulled it up my arm. And that caused all sorts of road rash up and down my arm. I have a tattoo right here, which you might be able to see in some of my videos when it's a little bit warmer. And thankfully it missed that entirely, so I didn't have to go and get that touched up or anything. That was good, I guess. Right side to everything. All in all, it wasn't very bad. Got a dent in my tank from where it went down and the handlebar smashed into the side of it. There was some, it dented the headlight bracket. I had to pull mud and shit out. I had to disassemble the headlight bracket and pull mud and pine straw and shit out of it. There was pine straw just about everywhere, up in the chain. And the PT Cruiser, the motherfucker didn't even stop. He just kept on going on his merry way as if nothing ever happened. So to this day, I don't know if he knew what happened, if he knew he ran me off the road and got scared thinking I went down the mountain and just kept going. I don't know, but that happened. And I was in the middle of nowhere. On the main road, there were I'd pass a car like coming my way every 5 or 10 minutes. It was not at all well traveled. So I just have to, pick everything back up, dust myself off, and get back on the road. So I realized, though, my arm is bleeding profusely, all over. There's blood like all down my shirt. It's bad. I was prudent enough to throw together an overnight bag at least before I left, so that was good. I took a pair of socks and my pocket knife, and I cut the foot off the sock, and I pulled the sock over my arm. And these were pretty tight socks. Well, like skiing socks that I was wearing, because this was maybe March, so it was pretty cold up in the mountains. That does a pretty good job of letting the blood kind of clot up and keep me from bleeding out. Stupid mistake number who knows what. I didn't have a first aid kit, so that was the best I could do at the time. I got on my phone, which was charged, thankfully, and I had service also, thankfully. And I saw the closest pharmacy that I could get to was maybe 15 to 20 miles away in Tennessee. When I finally make it to the CVS, I walk up to the counter in the back with the pharmacy and picked up a first aid kit, went ahead and purchased it. One of these, like, it's like this tiny square about this big, waterproof case, and I just strapped it to the back of my bike for the rest of the trip. After I purchased the little first aid kit, I actually go up and ask the lady, hey, do you mind if I use your bathroom for a bit? I've got to clean out my arm. So I go into the bathroom and I'm picking asphalt out of my skin for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Get everything all fixed up, put some Neosporin, or some sort of knockoff Neosporin shit on there because I was cheap as hell back then. Get it all dealt with, and that was that. It was all clean. So I drove on to Chattanooga, still not going home at this point, and I spent the night in a hostel called the Crash Pad, which if you're ever in Chattanooga, stay at the fucking Crash Pad. It is amazing. The people I met there, I will always remember. They were from Raleigh, North Carolina, and we just sat around drinking and having fun for like a couple hours that night. We played this game. I can't for the life of me remember what it was, but it's like you make animal sounds and you have to, like, I don't know, it's like I think one person makes a sound and then you make your sound. You, like, everyone picks a weird animal sound, like a really oddly specific, hard to replicate animal sound, and you have to do your sound and then do someone else's sound. And the person that you, like, when you do someone else's sound, they then have to come back and they do their sound and then they do someone else's sound, and it circles around. And every time you fuck up, you have to drink. And as you can imagine, it's one of those games that, like most drinking games, spirals out of control as everyone gets increasingly drunk. To give you an example, my sound was a wild boar who realizes he's never truly loved anyone. So we're just sitting around doing all this stupid shit, and people are making sounds, and some guy was a pterodactyl doing something, and then some other guy was like a giraffe with a short neck, and it was just ridiculous sounds, and it was fucking hilarious. And part of, I guess, my escape from everything at the time was that I didn't really share who I was with them. Not in the sense of like, oh, I'm not telling you my name. And when we went our separate ways, I didn't get any contact information from them. I didn't get anything. To some extent, I regret that because I'd love to hang out with those guys again, guys and girls. But at the same time, it just makes it so much more of a special experience. You know how it is when you meet people. You have good experiences and you have bad experiences. In this particular place, the Crash Pad, and those particular people, I can rest assured that I'm never going to be there with them again, and that memory will be my good memory for them. And I like that. I like that a lot. So the next day I ride home, and everything's just better again. And that's when I figured out what riding is to me. And it's both an exciting, fun as hell thing to do, and also an escape just from all the shit that you have to deal with. So guys, that is what motorcycle riding is to me. And that's the story of my first motorcycle accident. I hope you enjoyed. Hope I didn't get too deep and heavy on you. I know there wasn't a whole lot of funny stuff to this video, but I felt like it was a topic that I really just wanted to talk about. Because while I am primarily here to be a source of entertainment and comedy for all of you fine fellows, when I say fellows, I mean the gender-neutral type of fellow. I know there's some girls that watch my channel too. But I feel like there's some topics that I should address as well that are of a more serious nature. So let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I like it when you do that. Yeah. Peace, YouTube.